Welcome back, pilots, to Squadrons Update. After a long wait and plenty of promises and assurances, the much-anticipated 2.0 update has finally dropped today. This is, without a doubt, the most massive patch for the game to date, with Motive packing in more than 270 fixes and tweaks right in this, which range from your balance changes, bug fixes, changes to multiplayer, the addition of a new forfeit system, and more. Not to mention, in addition to all of this, Motive have also recently spoken publicly about their next upcoming rumored Star Wars game. And it's not exactly what you may expect, rather just the opposite. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. With the Mandalorian content update last week, we got quite a bit of new cool additions to the game in terms of mostly cosmetics. But coupled in with that was also a mini patch too. And unfortunately, it took EA and Motive a few days until after the update was released to put out the patch notes for that. So for anyone wondering why I didn't put out a video about that as I said I would, that's why. On the plus side, we did get the patch notes later on, and they were pretty small but substantial, with the highlights being the 9th campaign mission being fixed along with the 60 FPS glitch. While some folks were understandably disappointed in why we didn't get more major fixes and changes there, we did however learn that this week was when the massive 2.0 update would be dropping, and boy, it's a lot bigger than I had expected, so props to Motive on that one. Because after getting small patch after small patch, this is without a doubt a welcomed addition. To start things off, Motive in Update 2.0 have introduced a new mechanic for how matchmaking and lobbies will work in the game. Here's the rundown for it from Dan Kim, Motive's senior system designer. A new forfeit system has been implemented for fleet battles, replacing the old safe to leave and match not scored system. We felt that the previous system was often difficult for players to understand and unduly punished well-behaved players after an abandonment occurred, with some players reporting that they felt robbed of wins, locked into pointless matches, or unrewarded of time spent already when leaving the safe to leave games. The new forfeit system puts control back into the player's hands and allows players to decide which matches are worth fighting until the end and which are worth forfeiting. In either case, players will now be fully awarded on all sides. Players that defeat opponents through natural play or forfeit will now gain full skill points and progression rewards. Players that lose naturally after a teammate abandons or lose by forfeit will still gain full progression rewards but only take half of the skill point losses. Meanwhile, players that abandon will be appropriately punished, as abandoning the game after deployment always results in a loss and leaver penalties have been significantly increased. Players will also notice that Motive have a new lobby backfill mechanic. While players are in the briefing room hangar, the game will attempt to backfill open slots, even in ranked games. Players that leave the game during the briefing room hangar stage will not record a loss, but will still suffer some leaver penalty points, though not nearly as severe as abandoning the game after deploying into the map. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the rest of the patch notes. As I mentioned before, there are over 270 plus fixes and tweaks right in here, so obviously I won't be going over all of them one by one in this video. But Motive did fortunately leave the more interesting fixes in bold, so we'll focus primarily on those here. So first in controls, Motive have fixed an issue where remapping inputs while multiple joysticks, such as an Xbox controller and a HOTAS, were connected would cause inputs in the inactive joystick to be unintentionally rebound. And the issue where the diagonal thumbstick movement was significantly hindered when using the Aviator control scheme and/or certain custom mappings has been fixed too. Next in dogfight mode, Motive have improved the spawn points on SLS to help players feel less separated from the fight when respawning. And any news getting us back into the fight sooner rather than later is always going to be good news. Now in fleet battles specifically, there are quite a number of things to go over here. In addition to the updated lobby system, Motive have improved AI functionality to prevent AI farming issues. And by doing so, they're decreasing AI kills to 1 morale point instead of getting 2, while for defending, it will be 4 as opposed to 5 morale points than before. They've as well included a change to capital ship behavior to make mosquitoing, which if you don't know is the act of hiding under a capital ship and dealing damage into it, less of an issue. As capital ships will be more aggressive now, so mosquitoing shouldn't be a common sight anymore. And for anyone who still does try it, then they're gonna be in for a nasty surprise here. I also want to mention that the option to reset your rank during operations is now available too, as this will help players who got stuck at rank 0 get out of this state, and also let players who have been able to rank normally reset themselves too if they so do wish. All since the rank 0 issue may have unfairly calculated their skill rating when fighting affected players. Now when it comes to balance tweaks, the big one here is the TIE Bomber, which as most of you know, the past few weeks it's been getting a lot of attention and not for the right reasons. And well, Motive have heard the cries of the people on this and have understandably nerfed the TIE Bomber, seeing its default hull decrease to 2000 from 2500, and its reinforced hull benefit decreased to plus 50% over plus 60%. So yeah, not the harshest nerf ever, but still very much acceptable. Sure, the TIE Bomber is still one tanky boy, but at least it's not the untouchable beast it was once before. Another noticeable addition in this patch is the inclusion of a brand new obstacle course to practice mode, which is called Make Keel Proud, Mavericks. No word in the patch notes on what exactly it entails, but since Keo's in the title, then I think we all have at least some idea. Nonetheless, it's good to see new content added to the game, no matter what it is. Lastly, the news of Motive working on a brand new Star Wars game has started to build traction the last few days, especially with a job listing on their website dedicated to some new upcoming Star Wars action game. However, Motive have today come out and tweeted just the opposite regarding this, saying, "Due to human error, hey, it happens, we've seen a lot of speculation. While we're not working on a new Star Wars project, we are working on something pretty special." Now, this of course contradicts the job posting, and also the Motive dev hinting at a new Star Wars project in the works that I exclusively reported on last month. But having said that, since Motive is a small game dev after all, it's more so likely that they're working on their original IP first after having done nothing but Star Wars games this entire time. And then once that's mostly finished, then they're gonna be starting work on their next Star Wars game. Either way, that's still something we won't know for sure until late next year at the latest if anything. Not to mention, while Motive do love making Star Wars games, they've also openly talked about making something completely original too. And how can you blame them? They understandably want more in their portfolio than just Star Wars, so this does make some sense. But yeah, overall this looks to be a stellar patch for Squadrons. I'm especially pretty impressed with the balance changes done here too, considering some other companies struggle when it comes to balance changes and all. So to see something this reasonable done by Motive is great. Now all that's left is to see how the game will truly benefit from this update in the weeks to come. But until the next time, this will do it for your Squadrons update. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but also keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.